Hey, so you want to know how to sell high ticket packages? Well, watch this video to find out. Hey, what's going on? My name is Kevin Yee. I actually run a high ticket closing practice / agency. And I've been getting a lot of questions through my DMs asking me about how do you position yourself to have high ticket closers? And I think that's a huge thing, right? One of the major things I've been noticing is that, you know, in my experience, people go in the expectation of expecting what a high ticket closer is, but they don't know how to use them. So in this video, I'm just going to talk a little bit about how to optimize your high ticket closers. Now, this is assuming that your high ticket closers are good, but typically if you have all three of these things, then you're ready to move on for high ticket closing. Now, a lot of the time people like to focus so much on closing rates. And as I'm editing this video, I really want to emphasize, hey, who cares about closing rate if you're not profitable? So there's two factors I really like to focus on: cost per lead and also revenue per lead too. I just recently learned that, and I definitely wanted to throw that in because I think too much focus is put on closing rates, which are important. But I think more of an emphasis should be like, hey, what's the cost per lead? So how much are you spending to get those leads on the phone with you? And how much revenue are you bringing in per lead? So revenue per lead and cost per lead. Hope that helps. Now, when I typically work with clients, I like to aim for a 30 to 40% closing rate within the first 3 to 4 months. And even Scott Alford agrees with me on this thing. If you haven't checked out Scott Alford and his whole ROI method, I highly recommend that you check him out. If you don't know who Scott Alford is, he's really great at attracting high value clients to come to your high ticket offers. One of the things that I love about Scott is that he breaks down step by step of how to go from a kind of like a hard sell to more of an order taking process, which I think that's what everyone wants. And the key to that is having great marketing. In today's video, I'm just going to share 3 things that I noticed in great funnels. And keep in mind, this is from a closing perspective, right? Like I said, I run a closing agency, and I want to let you know, sometimes when these three things are missing, then it totally makes it a lot harder for our jobs to be able to sell and close your prospects. And just to let you know, I look at closing very differently from other high ticket closers and stuff. One of the things that I truly believe in is that we're honestly an extension of your customer service, and we're part of the customer experience. People might look like, hey, you're just making a close. No, what we do is actually establish relationships for the lifelong of your customer journey. Let me get into the first tip that I have for you guys. You need to make sure that you have content for your closers to refer to. Typically on a call, I like to check for 2 different things. They need to have trust with the product, and they need to have trust with the brand. And so one of the best ways to do it is actually having content to refer to, right? How many times, like, let me ask you, if you're selling a high ticket item, which is like at least like 10K, and you just met them last week, would you really trust that person to solve your problems? You know, this is how you don't get commoditized. When you have great content out there that they can really review and really digest who you are and what your product is all about, it makes for a better conversation on the phone. And that is one of the key aspects of having of transitioning from a hard sell to a more of an order taking process. It literally works around the clock for you. Rain, snow, or shine, your marketing will always be there. And it's always kind of passively closing them and passively building that trust, bringing them from cold to warm. And then us closers, we go from warm to hot. And you're probably wondering, well, what kind of content should I make? And I think Scott Alford, the other day I was actually on a group call with him, and he was recommending the whole concept of guides. And I love that. His ROI, I've personally gone through his ROI guide, and it was phenomenal. I actually was trying to build my whole high ticket offer based off that one guide. So if you can provide something so valuable, it allows us as closers to be like, hey, it seems like you don't know too much about XYZ influencer. I wouldn't want you to buy the course unless you are fully confident that this is the right teacher for you. Why don't I give you some homework? Why don't you go over X, Y, and Z? And let's do this. Let's schedule an appointment next week. Can you get all that done for me? Great. Are you actually going to show up on the call if we set up an appointment? Great. So it really helps us having more content to refer them to, and they need to have trust with your brand. And that leads me to the second thing. You need to have proper pre-framing. What is pre-framing? It's a two-part process, right? One, there has to be a very strict application process, right? So really qualifying people. Why exactly do you want to do this? And disqualifying the people who are just like, rapidly filling out the forms. Do you really want those people in your program? Probably not. Although the money is nice, think about the negative reviews that they could leave. Think about the actual results that they can get. Most business owners, we all like making money, but at the end of the day, we also want to impact people too. So I think it's really important to have a great application process. One of the people I like is actually Dan Henry. He has a really good application process, and he has a great video of what to expect on the call. Another really great example is actually KT9. They have a really, really in-depth webinar, and their pre-qualification video is over 30 minutes, right? So I think it's really important to A, have a really, really good application process, and B, you want to have a really in-depth video describing what exactly they're going to get and outlining the expectations of the call, right? If you're not going to show up, cancel right away. This is not for you. If you do not have the financial capability to afford an investment like this, cancel the call. It's not for you. We want to make sure that you're in a good financial place, right? So that way, if they're on a call, we can refer them back to the webinar or refer them back to that video explaining every single little thing. And that actually frees up more time for us to actually close more deals and making sure that, hey, only the serious people get on the call. By the way, I'm very aware that a lot of these people that I mentioned, they all use the SamEvansConsulting.com model. I think that's a really, really great model to base off of. Gives a lot of authority and also gives you a lot of information on the type of people who are coming through your funnel. Even though it's really, 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 really hard for me to get over Sam Evans's accent, he's really good at that. And the third thing I want to say is, it's important to track KPIs like closing ratio, number of leads coming in and all that. But at the end of the day, I think it's important to stop focusing so much on closing ratio and just focus on getting more and more calls. Because over time, the more calls that you get, the more your closers can work with you on optimizing the marketing. Why do I say that? I look at marketing and sales and closing as a cyclical process, right? So who actually speaks to your prospects? Your closers. So they can tell you who are the people that are actually getting on the call, which then can help your Facebook retargeting and stuff. So it should be an evolution process, right? And the number one thing that you should be focused on initially, if you're trying to scale up, is just getting as many calls and making sure that you're really proactive. If you're working with a really good agency, like mine, we are always trying to optimize that experience and really trying to make that the best possible experience and really helping you optimize your marketing. Know why? It makes our job easier. And guess what? When our job is easier, we can make you more sales and make sure that the right people are going into your program. And guess what? They're fired up. They want to be there. They love being there. Wouldn't you want that for your customers? So I hope that helped. That's a little short guide of how I handle my clients. If you are a business, and if you are a business not talking about are you interested in Dan Locke's high ticket closer course, but if you're interested in working with my agency, I'll leave an application below. Otherwise, if you have more questions, you can always feel free to contact me at refugeehustle.com. I have a contact form and you can message me there. And for those who are running agencies, I'm actually working on a comprehensive guide. So if you have any questions about getting clients or positioning or anything like that, leave comments below and I will create a kick-ass guide for you guys soon. And if you guys want more cool tips, when my guide is finished, I'll send it out to you guys. Just go to Winning Clients Online and you can just sign up for the guide when it comes out. Anyways, I hope that helped. I know how frustrating it can be for not only the closer side, but as a business, because you're paying money for these leads, and it sometimes feels like you're burning up money. So at the end of the day, I don't want you to be burning up your leads when all these things are not optimized yet. And watch more of my closing videos. I'll put playlists all over the screen, and make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell so that you get more notifications on my videos that are coming out. Let's end this.